Okay, ladies, and perhaps we might have a gentleman who may join us on the recording. Welcome to class number 2, and it's actually pretty cool to do this in my basement. And I can't. I was just saying to Joe, I can't really see much of you, and I don't have the advantage of being able to walk around the room and kind of get beside you, get behind you, but I will cue as clearly as I can. My kitty cat is here in the room. I may have to let her out at some point, but she's snoozing over there. So hopefully she'll just stay calm and cool for the duration. Maybe she'll join us. Okay, so I think we'll begin on our backs today. And if you have a yoga block, grab your block. If it's going to have some water nearby, right? And whatever you need, and certainly if you do this on the recording, the beauty of that is you can pause at any time, take a break or turn on the lights, or when we go into Shavasana at the end, you can set yourself up however you like. So we'll just get started. Let's lie on our backs. And whatever that means for you, whether that's bent knees with feet flat on the ground or legs straight, just going to get comfy on our backs and settle in to that. I'm going to remain seated so I can speak to the camera. Okay. Beginning by taking a couple of deep, slow, long breaths. As we arrive, we settle in. Beginning to just check in with our physical body. How are you feeling physically? Are there any areas that might feel a little resistant or sore or grumpy? Like I've got a little ache up in my shoulder tonight that I'm going to send extra love to. I don't know entirely what that's about, but I'm sure going to be very loving with my right shoulder as we practice together. So if there's anything in your body that's kind of speaking to you or whispering to you, just sending the breath into that area or those areas, and lots of love too. And let's also check in with our emotional, our energetic selves. How are we feeling? Is there anything perhaps that we're carrying around, any worry or concern or stress or anxiety or sadness that you're aware of, that you might, again, want to send some love into that corner? The breath, consciousness, and lots of forgiveness, lots of self-love, lots of forgiveness. Just sending love to all your corners, your physical corners, your emotional corners, the dark, cloudy ones, the bright, shiny ones, just as we settle in, knowing that those corners are going to get an extra dosage of love today in our practice. And as we settle in, I invite you to set an intention for our practice together this evening. And an intention can be a single word. It can be an I am statement, an affirmation, a word, a feeling, a color, something like surrender or explore or listen, anything at all. And just tucking that intention in to your heart space as we arrive and settle in. And as we're coming to the breath, we're on our backs. I'd like you to imagine that you're lying on that's beautiful orange air mattress. You're in your favorite body of water, whether it's a lake or the Bahamas or Cuba or someplace beautiful and warm. And you're just going to push yourself out into the water, into the waves. It's oceans, so there are waves, gentle waves. And we're simply going to feel into our bodies, feel the sense of floating and feeling the earth and the water under us. And as we breathe in, we'll feel ourselves lifting up with the wave. We'll exhale, let the wave take us down into its trough. Just coming to that feeling, that imagining the wave, the breath bringing us up. Exhale, just slipping down into the trough of the wave, finding the rhythm of that. Perhaps feeling the beautiful sunshine. We're in a warm place. Remember, the sun is shining down on us. Feeling the warmth, the sun on our solar plexus, our shoulders and neck, our face, tops of our feet, legs. Absorbing that beautiful energy of the sun. And feeling that embrace of the ocean, the wave, as it takes us up On the inhale, sipping into the trough on the exhale. Just spending a few breaths with that sensation, that imagined sensation. Surrendering more and more to the motion, feeling your jaw, facial muscles, cheeks, lips, tongue, melting and softening. The warmth of the sun soothing us, warming us, inviting us, opening us. The yellow of the sun, yellow is the color of our solar plexus chakra. That's our battery, our motivation, what gets us up in the morning and charges us through the day. Letting the sun just charge up that battery right in our solar plexus as the waves take us up on the inhale, slipping down on the exhale. Really enjoying that motion. Feeling the breath. Take a couple more of those breaths. And then let the waves bring us back to shore. Maybe feeling the scraping of the air mattress against the pebbles, the sand underneath as you come up to shore. And then we'll just stand up and pull that air mattress onto the beach. And we'll lie down in the sand, on our yoga mat on the sand or a beach towel on the sand, and feel the warmth of the sand coming up into our bodies from below. It's been heated by the sun. We have the sun warming up our top body, sand warming our lower body, our back body, as we melt into that sensation, and gravity sinking us, inviting us, embracing us as we sink into the earth. Now breathing our knees up to a hug. Give yourself a beautiful hug, maybe rocking side to side on your sacrum, your lower back, giving it a massage, saying hello. Remember, the sun is warming us from the upside, and the sand underneath us is warming our lower back, our hips, our shoulders. So nice. Now letting our hands slide to the top of our femur, just above our knee, where that big strong thigh bone meets the knee capsule, and we're pressing the hands in the legs, pressing legs into hands as we press the lower back into the mat, the beach. Noticing what's turning on in your own body, feeling into that. Breathing. Press harder with hands into legs, legs into hands. And notice. Now slipping hands around the kneecap to the tops of the shins, pressing legs, shin bones into hands, pulling back down towards earth with your hands resisting, pressing hard, pulling hard, noticing your lower back into the earth, and noticing what's turning on. Breathing. Check in with your neck. Make sure your neck is relaxed. No tension there. You can move side to side as you press shin bones into hands. Pull hands down against the shin bones towards earth. 2 more breaths. Releasing that, taking hands the outside of the legs, just above the knee capsule, where the lateral line is. It's not the IT band. We're going to press our legs once again into hands. Resist back by pressing hands into legs. Again, noticing what's turning on. What's lighting up in your body? Can you press the lower back a little into the mat as we firmly press legs into hands, hands into legs, and noticing. Neck is relaxed. What muscles are working here? Do you feel it in your core? What's happening in your shoulders and your neck? Relaxing your neck if you feel tension there. We're breathing. Releasing that, taking palms of hands, each hand in the inside of the opposite leg, so there'll be a cross in the arms. This time we're adducting, we're pressing legs into our midline as we press the hands out towards the outsides of the legs. So again, we're using resistance here, pressing hard in with the legs, pressing hard out with the hands, breathing, and once again, simply noticing, really noticing what's turning on. What if you press your lower back into the floor a little more? Is that available to you? How does it feel? check in with your neck. Make sure there's nothing grabbing there. Super, super mobile. You're smiling. Nice. Let's release that. And take the hands behind the thighs. We're going to rock a couple of times. Just rock through your spine. Really gentle. Take it easy. And we're going to meet in what we call a boat pose, where we're balancing our sacrum. Options here. Hands can support the legs behind, like hands on the thighs. If that feels stable, you want to take it one further, we can pop palms forward. You want more, the further away we get from our center, the more challenging it is. So find your version. Remember, there's no two boats alike in the harbor. Find your boat, find your version. And breathing through it. Lifting up the heart, straight through the spine. About 3 more breaths. One more breath. Then we'll slowly lower down. Let's meet seated. Probably some form of cross-legged if that's comfortable for you. And I always like to offer, if you feel you can get straighter and more lifted, taking kind of a lower lift, something like a rolled up blanket or perhaps a stack of paper. Or if you have one of these soft, spongy blocks. Some people like in seated positions to have their hips lifted. It gives a little bit of relief in the lower back. And for some people, it prevents the upper torso from kind of spilling forward. So if that's something you want to try, go ahead and do that. It can be, like I say, a pillow or a blanket, or if you don't have one of these fancy little yoga cushions. So we're sitting comfortably here. Let's take our hands on the tops of our legs, and with palms facing upward, we'll inhale. Exhale, press the back of the hands into the legs as we get tall. Tuck the chin a little bit, tall through the crown. Inhale, release. Exhale, press back hands into tops of legs. Get tall, tuck chin. 2 more. Inhale, release. Exhale, press down. Again, noticing. Feel into this. What are you feeling? Where are you feeling it? 1 more breath. Release that. Exhale, pressing down. And breathing. So nice. Let's release that. Inhale, hands all the way up. Big reaching skyward. Exhale, fingers to earth for some sun breaths. Inhale, breathing up. Exhale down. 2 more times. Inhaling up. Exhale down. And 1 more. Inhale up. Exhale down. We'll take our fingers to meet the index fingers meeting thumbs in front of us. Do some robin's breath. That means we're simply going to open our wings. Inhale to open up and lift your heart, lift your smile. Big exhales. You wrap our arms around. Give yourself a hug. Spine rounds. Inhale, open to lift your smile, your heart. Exhale, wrap second hand on top as you give yourself a hug, rounding the spine. 2 more times. Inhaling to open and lift. Exhale, first arm wrapping. This is called a robin's breath. Kind of like a cat-cow seated. Inhale to lift and open. So nice. Feel your spine moving gently. Nice. Inhaling to open. Take arms up 1 more time. Big reach upward. Inhale. Dropping your left hand onto right knee as we come into a gentle twist. Lead with your heart as we take our gaze behind us. Tenting fingers of that back hand on the floor behind us. Getting tall. Slight tuck in the chin. Looking over shoulder. Relax your jaw. Breathe. Can you get taller? 1 more breath. And we'll inhale up again. Big reach skyward. Exhale, second side into our twist. Hand drops onto the knee. Other fingers floating behind us. Leading us into that look backwards, that twist. Getting tall. Tucking chin slightly. Pressing those back fingers into the floor. One more breath. Inhaling to take that all the way up. This time dropping right fingers onto the earth. We'll take a side stretch, reaching over the body with the other arm. Palm will face down to that lifted arm. Gaze floats up, connecting the hand on the floor with the opposite hip. Pressing that hand into the floor. Pressing that left hip into the floor on the other side. And gaze is upwards. Remember, your body will follow your gaze. That's kind of a rule. So if we take the gaze upward, the body will follow. If gaze drifts down, we might kind of slump over. So body follows your gaze. Take your gaze up, your body follows. Inhale, press a hand into the floor, connecting it to opposite hip. One more breath. Inhaling up and over the top, taking the left hand to earth as the right hand reaches all the way over. Palm down, gaze upwards, pressing that left hand down, connecting it to right hip on the floor. Body follows your gaze. So you lift, your gaze is lifted, your body follows. Maybe leaning a little into your back body if it's available. One more breath. We'll do that one more time each side. Inhaling up and over. Exhale, fingers to earth. Over we go into our side reach, connecting hand on floor to opposite hip. Gaze upward. Lean into back body if it's available to you. Fingers are wide on the floor. We're pressing those finger pads down. Getting some energy there. Breathe into this and feel into it. What's turning on? What are you feeling? One more breath and up over we go on the inhale. Exhale, fingers to earth, reaching across to our second side. Palm is facing the floor. Gaze is lifted. Body follows. Pressing those finger pads hard into the floor, connecting them to the opposite hip. Leaning a little again into your back body if it's there for you. It's an inquiry. It's an exploration. One more breath. Beautiful. Let's breathe that up and over. Extend the right leg long. Keep the left knee bent. Now I'm mirroring you. So if I say left leg, I'm actually using my right leg, which is a bit of a brain teaser for me, but it should work out for you so you can mirror me on your end. Okay, so the one leg straight, other knees bent, turning our torso towards that bent knee, just where it's comfortable. Opening up our wings, tickling that shin bone with that finger. Inhale, take your gaze towards that back hand. Big breathe in. Exhale, sweep that back hand forward. Follow it with your gaze so hand meets hand at that extended leg. Inhale to open. Take your gaze with the hand. Exhale, sweeping close. Gaze follows moving hand. Two more times. Inhale, open. Exhale, closed. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. We'll do one more inhale, this time planting the hand on the earth, sweeping up onto that bent knee to reach across our diagonal. I'm off the camera, but I'm reaching with strong fingers straight towards the side wall as my fingers, my toes, on the extended leg are really reaching too. So fingers to toes, active stretch here. We're breathing. This is called stargazer pose. One more breath. Then we'll circle that arm gently in that shoulder girdle. Breathing, exploring the range of motion here that we have in that shoulder. If you bump into any restriction, honoring that, noticing it and honoring it. We'll change direction. Go the other way, use your breath. And one more circle will bring everything back down to earth. Hand, bottom, and we'll change side. Extend the other leg long. Oh, that feels so good, doesn't it? That first extension. Turning our torso slightly towards that bent knee. Open up wings. Slide that pinky down that shin bone. Inhale to look at the back hand. Exhale, sweep that hand across. Follow it with your gaze. Hand meeting hand by that lower leg or ankle. Inhale, open. Exhale, closed. Our gaze is moving with the hand. Inhale, open. Exhale, closed. We'll do one more, ladies. Inhale to open. Exhale, close. Now our final opening, we'll take that hand down to earth, reaching across side body. Again, I'm probably off camera here because I'm beyond the range of my mat, I think. But I'm reaching with my fingers really strong, pointing with those toes, right across one diagonal body. The hand on the floor is rooted down strong. And then we'll circle that arm. Again, honoring your shoulder. If you notice any grumpiness in there, honor it, notice it. Be gentle and loving. Most of us have some kind of shoulder history on some side. We'll change direction, go the other way. We really need to meet our bodies where they are at and notice, encourage them, love them, whatever we bump up against, just knowing that our body is always adapting and changing. And here's a fun fact, we're building our future body right now. Every moment we move, we spend, we're building our future body. So right now we're building our future body in a fabulous way. Okay, ladies, I'm going to plant our feet in front of us on the floor. We did this last class. If you were here, we're going to come up into a simple toe stand. I'm going to go back a bit in case I'm off camera. If you have blocks or if you feel unstable, hands can go onto blocks or books or whatever you might have. If you feel stable enough, hands can come to heart center, perhaps pressing into toes if it's available. If this is too strong, you can find a version of this, maybe coming onto your full foot. So find your version of this. If Joe, I know you're listening. If this is too strong for you at this moment, you can take some of your paper stacks or a cushion and put them under your heels to transfer some of the weight back. So play with that. If a toe stand is not working for you or not ready for it yet, find your version of it. I've got a pillow. I just slipped it under my heels, and I'm still feeling lots of nice working through the toes without the full pressure of the body weight. So finding your version of this. Hands might come together, heart center. And enjoying and feeling into the wobble. Noticing the little adjustments that your body's making. It's all really good stuff. Pressing into the toes to stabilize. Asking yourself if you can get taller. Softening the jaw. A smile helps. And we're breathing and we're noticing. And maybe we're wobbling. How about 3 more breaths here? Lovely. We'll press our heels down. Remove that pillow if you got one there. Pressing heels down. Keep a bend in the knees. We're finding a forward fold here. Letting the neck relax. Pressing into the feet. Feeling the whole foot on the floor. The big toe mound. The other 8 toes too. Feet are pressing down. Imagine that the feet and knees are dialing away from each other. They're pressing in the floor, dialing the feet and knees away from each other. Notice what the hips are doing. Where do you feel the activation? We're breathing. Neck is relaxed. Now take your arms, wrap them around your knees. Grab the arm with the opposite hand, and we'll press into the outsides of the legs with the arms. Press the legs into the arms. Arms into legs, legs into arms. Once again, we're using our own body to add resistance. Big toes are pressing down. Press those legs into your arms. Relax your neck. We're breathing. 3 more breaths. Press hard into your arms with your legs and notice where you're feeling this. 1 more breath, ladies. Release the hands. Take the hands, palms facing each other, over that by your hips, thumbs to the floor. We're going to power up on 3, simply bringing hands, arms forward to standing. 1, 2, 3. Power up. Swing those arms gently upwards. Inhale. Exhale, hands to your heart center. Okay, we are standing. We're going to work on our foot to core activation. Some of you have heard me talk about this. For some of you, it's a new concept. What we're doing when we activate, we're activating our fascial lines, of which there are several in the body. And the fascial lines are connected with a muscular system. And we're sensitizing the sensory receptors in our fascial lines, improving our proprioception, which is connected with all of that. Proprioception is a fancy word for feeling where our body is in space. So
Let's work on our foot to core activation. What does that mean? Feet are parallel. Knees have a little mini bend. They're never locked. We don't lock out our joints. And I'm just kind of rocking back and forth a little bit to kind of get a sense into my feet. Taking weight forward over the toes, then over the middle of the feet, back to the heels. Can we get tall as we do that? And finding what feels like your middle. Imagine that your spine is like a broomstick and your head is a ball on top of the broomstick, and we're balancing that ball on top of the stick. So we're really stable, we're really tall. And back to focusing on the feet now. Imagine we're pressing great toe mound into earth with knees slightly unlocked, mini bend. We're dialing the feet and knees away from each other. Feel into that. Does that make sense to you? As you press the feet down, imagine it's like we're screwing them into the floor in opposite directions away from midline. I like to say dial them away from each other. When we do that, we're sending tension forces right from the arch of the feet, up the inseam of the leg into pelvic floor, lower belly, up the central line of our bodies to the crown of our head. So feel into that, maybe spinning palms forward or slightly forward as the heart lifts. Tall through the crown, tuck your chin slightly and feel. Breathe. Feet are pressing down, feet and knees energizing as if we're dialing them away from one another, feeling that tension, that activation up from the feet, inseam of legs, pelvic floor to lower belly, and on up through the center of the body, to the crown of the head. One more breath. And release that. It's quite strong. Let's wiggle it out. We're going to find it again, starting at the great toe mounds. Press those toes and all the other toes too into earth. Knees are unlocked. Dial, energize as if you're dialing feet and knees away from one another. As we lift to the heart space, spin palms forward, tuck your chin, tall through crown. Feel into that. Do you feel the connection from your feet into your pelvic floor, lower belly? Do you feel that foot to core connection? Breathing. Let's release that one more time. I'm going to turn it on 2 more times. So let's turn it on. Press feet down. Dial feet and knees away from one another. Lift the heart. Tall through the crown. This time we'll take hands behind the head. Interlocking hands behind the head. Interlacing our fingers. Pressing the head into hands. Pressing hands into head. Tuck your chin and feel. Do you feel your back body lighting up? We're still activating, dialing feet and knees away from each other, micro bend of the knees, press head into hands, tuck your chin. Breathing. We're letting up your back, your superficial back line, the line up the back of your body. It's like the, it's like the spine of our back body. Great, let's release that. We'll turn this on one more time. Feet are pressing down, big toe mounds pressing, feet and knees as if they're dialing away from each other. Feel that energy gathering up into your core. This time let's take our hands above our head. Once again, interlace fingers, spin the palms towards the ceiling, press the palms up and try to pull the hands apart. Tuck the chin. Keep dialing feet and knees away from one another, pull hands apart. What do you feel? Breathing. Let's inhale, get taller. Exhale, tip to the right side, gaze floating upwards. Keep pulling your hands apart as the feet and knees dial away from each other. Gaze is up. Lean into your back body, pull your hands apart. Lovely. Up to center, inhale. Exhale, little release, bend the knees. Inhale, let's find the activation. Press feet down, dial them away from each other. Press hands to ceiling. Pull hands apart, tip to the other side. Gaze floating up. Pull hands apart, get long. And breathe and smile. Nice. Up to inhale, exhale, hands down, shake it out. And this time, interlacing fingers, doing a lot of finger work today. We're going to interlace them so one palm is facing the heart. Fingers are laced together. We're still activating our feet. Whenever feet are on the floor, the feet and knees are dialing away from each other. Knees are unlocked. Okay, let's find that activation from the foot to core. Let's pull the hands apart as we get tall. Tall, tall, tall. Turn to your right side. Gaze to that elbow behind us. Let's tighten your left buttock connected to the right elbow that's behind you. Getting tall, pull hands apart. Breathe. Check into your feet, that both toes, big toes are on the floor. Check with your legs that they're kind of doing the same thing. You're not kind of hitching one knee in front of the other. Pull hands apart, one more breath. Back to center, inhale, change the grip on your hands. So the other palm is facing your heart. Activate foot to core. Pull hands apart, get tall. Inhale, take your twist to the other side. Gaze looking at that back elbow. Let's connect your left back elbow to your right buttock, which is contracting. Breathing. Pull hands apart. You got this. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And let's release that. Come to center. We'll shake it out. Grab a drink of water if you wish. And we'll meet at the front of our mats. Coming to the front of our mats. Let's find that Tadasana pose we just had. The mountain pose where we were all beautifully activated. So feet in a parallel position, number 11 position. Pressing those great toes down. Let's dial the feet and knees away from each other. Gathering everything into our center. Inhaling, hands up. Big breath up to reach. Dive down, flat back. Exhale, hands towards the earth. Partway lift, hands coming up to shin, flat back, tuck your chin, inhale. Exhale, lower down. 2 more times, inhale, partway lift, flat back, tuck your chin. Exhale to lower. 1 more time, coming up to it, flat back, inhale, tuck your chin. Exhale, hands to mat, and we'll step it back. Lower the knees. So finger pads are really wide. When hands are on the floor, I'm going to show you our second activation. It's called hand to core activation. I'm going to scooch a little closer just to show you something. These are my hands on the floor. Notice how wide my fingers are. We're going to press the hands into the floor, pressing into finger pads, and imagine that we're dialing the hands away from each other. When we do that, notice how the elbows tuck in automatically. Elbows have that little mini band. We never lock out our joints. We're protecting our joints. When we're doing this on the floor with that closed chain on the floor, we're sending wonderful tensioning forces from the palms, the pads of our fingers to the palms of our hands, up around the wrists to strengthen, wrapping our elbows in a web of fascial activation, up the shoulders, down the back. So let's try that. Our shoulders are over our hands. Our shoelaces are on the floor. Finger pads really wide, elbows unlocked, pressing finger pads into earth, feeling those forces, tensioning, and we'll dial those hands away from each other. Shoulders position, organized over hands. Notice I'm not at a right angle. We're not going into a cat-cow. We're not quite tabletop pose. Knees are a little further back. It's a little bigger angle. Shoulders over hands with those finger pads wide. Hands dialing out so the elbows tuck in. Inhale. Exhale, slowly come down. Notice how the elbows stay in. They kiss your ribs on the way down, moving really slowly. Inhaling now to lift up the heart. Press hands down. Dial the hands away from each other. Pubic bones on the earth. We're lifting our heart. And exhale to lower. Again, inhaling to lift up the heart. These are called cobra push-ups. Notice the pubic bone on the floor. Let's tighten our glute muscles. Exhale to lower. Press hands down, dial out. Looks small, but it's pretty strong. Up we go. Inhale, press down, tuck in your elbows. Exhale, lower. Changing it this time, tucking our toes. We're going to press all the way through. Keep your elbows in. We do that by pressing finger pads down. Dial them out. Up come the hips. Float. Inhale as the hips float up. Exhale as they land on the back of our heels. Toes tucked, forehead to the mat. Now let's break this pose down. It's puppy pose or an active child's pose. Toes are tucked. If it's comfortable for you, we're pressing toes into the mat. Feeling all 10 toes, really getting a nice range of motion here, pressing into them. When we're all squished over, we can feel the breath in belly, back, pelvic floor. So breathing nice and low. Forehead's on the earth. The nervous system loves that gentle pressure between the brow, breathing into that sensation. And now our hands are forward over our heads in an end range position. It means they're gone as far as they can go. Our finger pads are wide. Press the hands down. Dial the hands away from each other. Press into your toes. What are you feeling? Where are you feeling it? Really pressing finger pads. Press your palms of your hands. Dial the hands out. And imagine those tensioning forces starting at the finger pads, traveling up the palm of the hands, through the wrists, around the elbows, around the shoulders, and down into your trapezius muscles in your back. Feeling into that, noticing what you're feeling. One more breath. Great. Let's come back through our tabletop. Put your shoelaces back on the floor. Organize shoulders over hands. Open up those finger pads again. Press them down. Dial out the hands. Tuck your chin slightly. Inhale. Exhale, slowly lower down. Keep your elbows in. We're going down. Down, down, down. Super slow. Micro slow. When we arrive, inhale to lift the heart. Press your hands down. Elbows in. Pubic bone on the floor. Exhale, lower. The more we press hands, the more we dial out, the stronger this is in our upper body, in our arms and shoulders. We're inhaling up, exhaling down. And this activation of hand to core sends beautiful healing stimulus into fingers, wrists, elbows, shoulders, wherever you're needing it, and you're strengthening. We're lowering down. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, up comes the heart. Exhale to lower, tucking toes again, pressing through. Keep your elbows in as our hips lift. Exhale, hips lower to the back of the heels, forehead on the earth. Pressing into toes, breathing into back and belly, forehead on earth, arms reaching overhead, finger pads on the floor. Variation, press into your finger pads, send your wrists up. Press finger pads. Let's dial finger pads away from each other. We keep that activation of hand to core. Notice where you're feeling things when you turn on those muscles. Little variation here. We're going to inhale, exhale, pull everything to center. Like you're gathering everything. Pull your finger pads in, pull your toes in too. Pull, pull, pull. Gather in like we're trying to squish the mat to make it shorter. And then release. Let's press away. Make the mat longer. Stretch it out. Press the finger pads to the front end of the mat. Press your toes to the back end of the mat. Breathing. Oh, yeah. Nice. Great. Let's come all the way up and over, down onto our bellies with our forearms on the mat. Shoelaces too. Lower your shoelaces. Put them down. We can tap the tops of our feet gently. Perhaps it feels nice on the floor. Okay. We're in a Sphinx position now. Here's my kitty cat. She's the one going to want to go out. Okay, her name is Eva. She might come on camera. So finger pads are wide again. We have our lower arms pressing down. We're dialing the hands away from each other. Letting my kitty cat out. And lifting up the heart. As we press the hands and arms into the mat, we lift our heart. Notice the pubic bone is on the floor. We can tighten our glute muscles for a little extra fun. Press down, lift heart, tighten your glutes. Very active Sphinx pose. Breathing. 3 more breaths. Can you press harder? Can you dial those hands out? Is your neck relaxed? Can you move it from side to side? Feel into this. What are you feeling? Where are you feeling it? Great. One more breath. Then lowering right down the floor, bend your knees and make your feet. Tuck your toes so your feet are parallel to the ceiling. Hands behind us, palms facing each other, thumbs to the floor. We're going to pretend we're squeezing a big cushion of air between our hands. Press the soles of your feet into the ceiling and lift up your heart. And breathe into this airplane tail pose. Breathing. Tuck your chin. Strong hands. Lift the heart, nose to the floor. 3 more breaths. Can you press higher with your feet? Lift your heart a little more. 1 more breath. Lower down. Take a hand under or in front of your head. Windshield wipe your feet side to side. Give yourself a little break. And then we'll do 1 more. Straighten the legs. Hands beside your shoulders. Tuck in your elbows. Point your nose to the floor. Let's lift up your hands. Lift up your chest. Lift up your feet. Tuck your chin. Breathing. Like you're pressing the backs of the hands towards the ceiling. Lift those feet. Tighten your glutes. Tuck your chin. Breathe. And smile. Nice. 1 more breath. Lower down. Let's tuck toes. Plant your hands. Send your hips up for a downward facing dog. Walking my feet forward so you can see me here. Okie dokie. Your finger pads are wide. They're pressing down. Hands are dialing out. Elbows unlocked. Breathing. I don't have my usual mat. This one's slippery, so I'm just going to grab on the side of my mat so I don't slide. Press hands to the front end of the mat. Press your heels towards the earth, flat between the shoulder blades. And then inhale, up come the heels. Send the heels up. Exhale, lower them down. So we're pressing into toes again here. Inhaling to send the heels up. Exhale, lower. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, up come the heels. Exhale, lower. And 1 more. Lower down. Let's load weight onto left foot. Send the right leg up. Now, spin that lifted leg in slightly to midline, like you're trying to tilt your right hip a little towards earth. Kind of brings your leg spinning in a little bit. And then we're going to very, very slowly take that right knee connected with a lifted leg, slow, slow, slow forward. It's making its way to your right wrist. We're moving super slow motion here, taking it eventually towards the right wrist. Elbows are unlocked. When we arrive, lower that front leg down. Please keep the tuck on the toes of that extended left leg. Keep the left knee off the floor. And here's where if you have blocks or books or something, you might want to place them under your hands. Maybe, maybe not. Play with this, but here's what we're doing. We're pressing right knee, right shin bone, heel and ankle deep into the floor. Press down hard. Press into toes of your back, left foot. Keep that left knee off the mat. Press down hard. This is a version of pigeon pose, but it's very, very activated. It's very strong. We call it frisky pigeon. So instead of the old style pigeon, I'm just going to demonstrate. We used to kind of sink into that pose, load all our weight onto that hip, onto that core piriformis muscle. This version, when we tuck the toes, lift the knee, press lower leg, knee, heel, ankle into earth. We're tightening those hip rotator muscles, the ones that are responsible for the rotation of our hips. Rather than compromising them, we're strengthening them. So let's press down hard, get really tall. Maybe hands come to heart center. Maybe they're on your blocks or your books. We're breathing, we're smiling, pressing hard into that lower leg on the floor. 2 more breaths. And then slowly lower down, let that left hip right hip lower down to earth. Take that left knee to a bend to wrap around your right bent knee. Now, if this is too strong, the right leg can be extended. So again, find your version. I'm going to bend my knee again. Right arm wrapping around left bent knee. The left arm will sweep around and behind us, follow it with your gaze, and will land behind us on the mat. Getting tall. I just took a little twist here so you can see me. Tall, tall, tall. Tuck the chin, press those back fingers into earth, and maybe if you want a little bit more activation, I like to activate every pose that I can. We're maybe pressing that left bent knee into that right elbow or wrist or hand. Into our half Lord of the Fish rotation. Breathing. Can you get taller? Where are you feeling it? One more breath, then release that. Bow over your front foot. As we take a little breath. Inhaling to bring up the chest, taking that left knee around again to a tucked toe, pressing in the earth with those toes. Plant your hands, send your right leg through and back for a three-legged dog. Nice. One more breath. And then we'll take the right foot forward between the hands on three. 1, 2, 3. Invite that foot forward. Wiggle it into place under your right knee. So you have a nice right angle at your knee, a right angle at your foot. Take your block or your book, place it on the inside of your right foot. Left hand on block or book. Focusing on the right foot in front of us. We're pressing it down. Big toe's a big player here. We're pressing down. Dial the foot as if you're screwing it into the floor away from midline, feeling up in the back of the leg, the hip, pressing into the toes. Again, if this is too strong, there's always a variation. You can take a bend in the knee, take a knee. Whichever version you're doing, we can always and still press that front foot down, dial it away from midline, away from the block. Breathing. The more we press down to that front foot, the more we're floating up off the earth. The energy is coming from earth upwards, and we're strengthening into that hip. Pressing down, let's let the right hand find right hip into a twist, and sending that arm up if it wants to go there. Keep pressing your front foot down. Breathing and smiling. Nice. One more breath. Maybe your gaze is up. Your body follows your gaze. Okay, we're going to spin that around. Take your hands on to your thigh bone. You can take a knee if you wish with that back leg. Either way, whether your back leg is straight or bent knee, we're pressing down onto that thigh bone, that femur bone. Press down hard to get tall. Let's interlace fingers behind your head. Press head into hands, hands into head. Tuck your chin and get tall. Press that front foot down, dial out the foot, and breathe. The more we press down, the higher we float up. The more messaging we're sending to hamstring area. All those structures are getting strong and stable. Okay, hands to floor. Oh yeah, let's take the right foot back. Join the left, pedal through your dog. Pedal through. Breathe. We're going to do all that on the other side. Good thing we have 2 legs, 2 sides. We can do it all again. Loading weight on the right foot. Send the left leg up. Spin that left hip towards earth a little bit. And now that left knee is going to make its slow, beautiful journey towards the left wrist. Go slowly. Like a brush stroke, we're slowly moving the brush. Slow motion. When it eventually arrives, lower that lower leg down. Keep the tuck in the toe. Knee floats off the earth. Hands coming underneath your hips or on blocks or books. pressing down. Here's the important part. Press down with your left knee, left shin bones, heel and ankle, press down hard so you float up. So we're defying gravity here. We're pressing down, turning on all kinds of muscles to stabilize and strengthen to send all the right information to our nervous systems. Information about stability. When your nervous system feels safe and stable, then it lets us build strength. As we get stronger, we become more mobile. So it works together beautifully. We're pressing out hard for 3 more breaths. Press, press, press. Tuck the chin, get tall. 1 more breath. Okay, let's lower down. Hands to earth. Left hip to earth. And we'll take that right leg around this time with a bent knee again. If that left leg wants to be straight instead of bent, beautiful. We're finding our version of this twist, getting tall. Left arm wrapping around the right bent knee. Right arm will survey the horizon. Maybe we're still on the beach. Let's take that hand behind us. Gaze follows, fingers planting down, and get really tall as maybe we give a little pull on that leg as we press leg into the arm. Tall, tall, tall. Breathing, softening the jaw, tuck the chin, and try to get taller. Two more breaths. Then unwinding, surrender down, bow over your front foot. Breathing back up. Invite that front leg to come back to a tucked toe. Plant your hands. Send the left foot through and back and up for 3-legged dog. And on the count of 3, bringing left foot forward between the hands. 1, 2, and 3. Place it under that left knee. Plant your block or your book or your stack of paper. The inside of that left foot. Put your hand on your prop. We're pressing in those back toes. Again, if this is too strong today on this side, you can always take a bend of the knee. So finding out again your version, no matter which we choose, we're pressing that front foot down. We're dialing that foot away from the midline, away from the block, pressing down so we send energetic tension forces up the leg, along and through the hamstring muscle, up into the hip. Letting left hand find left hip into your twist. Keep pressing your front foot down. Keep dialing it out. Press into your back toes. Maybe the left arm floats up. We're breathing. We're pressing down. We're tall. That hip is floating away from earth. So nice. 1 more breath. Spinning back around, taking hands to femur bone. Press down to get tall. Let's turn some things on. Prime things here. Tall. Press down. And then we'll do a little variation, taking hands up. Let's interlace the fingers again. Stem the palms to ceiling. Press palms into ceiling. Pull hands apart. Lean back and tuck your chin. Pull hands apart. I don't know about you. I am shaking. I felt all of that. And, you know, we want to reach fatigue at least a couple times during our practice. That's how we build capacity. That's how we get stronger. So embrace the fatigue, embrace the wobble. 1 more breath, hands down to earth. Stepping the back foot forward towards the front. Here we go, stepping forward, forward fold. Little bend of the knees. Relax the neck. Breathe deeply. Press feet into earth. Dial feet and knees away from each other. Feel the hips float up. Hands behind us, palms facing one another, thumbs to the floor. We'll power up on 3. 1, 2, 3. Breathing hands all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Whew. And let's take a drink. Whatever you got going. I felt that. Okay, we're going to do a standing balance. I like to include a one-legged standing balance in every class. There are different ones we can do today. we'll do something called purity pose. Beginning by getting our feet ready. Why don't we just kind of press through our feet? Maybe come up on our toes in between, side to side, strengthening through the feet. And then we'll load weight onto right foot. I've got my left foot loaded. Notice how that foot on the floor can still dial away from central line. And then simply inviting the other foot, the knee up to a bend. Let's press down the femur bone to prime things. Get tall. Notice where you feel it. Then wrap the hands around the knee capsule to the top of the shin bone. Press leg into hands. Pull hands into knee. Get tall. Where do you feel it? Do you feel it more in your front body or your back body? Now we're all ready. Let's take hands up to sky, palms facing each other, thumbs to the back wall, knee lifted for a purity pose. Getting tall as we can. Tall in that standing leg, tall in that standing hip. That knee is unlocked, the knee of the standing leg. Soften the jaw. Lift the heart. Get tall. Let's hold this for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower that foot to floor. Take the toenail behind you to the floor. Spin palms forward. Press into your front foot. Float the back toe up. Get tall. Press the back of the hands into the wall behind you. Lift your heart. Fierce angel. Breathe. Tuck your chin. Long through the crown. Opening your heart. 3 more breaths. Oh yeah. Last breath. We'll lower down. Shake it out. Give yourself some love. I should feel out my hips. It's so strengthening to do these standing, one-legged standing balances. Very, very, very beneficial. Let's get the other foot ready to take our weight. Whatever you need to do to get there, if you need to wiggle a few times, side to side, move your hips. And we'll set up on that other side. Left foot rooting down. Knees unlocked. Foot on the floor. Dials away from midline. Inviting other leg up to a bent knee. Hands on your femur bone. Let's press down to get tall. Feel into that. Where do you feel it? Back body or front body? Noticing. Wrapping hands around knee capsule to the top of the shin bone. Press shin into hands. Pull hands against leg. Get tall. Notice where you feel it. Back body or front body? Just notice. I'm not going to tell you. Just notice. Okay, now that we're all ready, hands floating up, thumbs to the back wall, palms facing, tall on that standing leg, tall through the crown, open through the heart, purity pose. We'll take this for 10, 9, 8, tall on that standing leg, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take that foot behind you to a toenail, palm spinning forward. Lift that back toe slightly off the earth. Press your back, your hands into the wall behind you. Get tall, tuck your chin. Fierce angel. Heart open. Breathing. Tall in that standing leg. Enjoy the wobble. 3 more breaths. Last breath. Lower down. Give yourself some love, some taps. And we'll meet on our backs on the mat. Down we go. Down on your backs. Bring your knees with you for a hug. And your hips too, because they did some work there, right? Rocking side to side. Let's take the knees wide. Rocking side to side. Send your feet to the sky, let your hands find your feet to your ankles to do your version of happy baby. Feet can be wide, legs wide, hands might press into feet, feet into hands, or maybe feet come to the midline. Maybe that's what feels fun. Maybe we bend and straighten, pressing foot into hands. So make this your own, have fun with this, find your version. You can switch it up, exploring, maybe rocking side to side all the time, breathing deeply. Maybe the knees bend alternately. Just really have fun with this. Chance to explore. Nice. Bringing knees together. Let's bend them again. Give ourselves a hug. We'll open up our wings. Palms facing skyward. Inhale. Take your knees to the right side. Your gaze to the left. Breathing. Looking at that hand of the extended arm. And now breathing as the knees float up over the middle, taking them left, gaze right. Now our knees are on the left side of our body. Let's float the right bent knee up and over, bring soles of the feet together into what we call a cobbler pose. If this is too strong, too open in your hips, hands can float under the legs. I like to do that sometimes. Plant elbows on the floor, and you can support this with your hands. Let each toe find its friend on the other foot. That's a really fun sensation. Pinky toe finds his friend, the pinky friend, fourth toes meeting, middle toes, your second toes, and your great toes, feeling into the flesh of the opposite toe. Really feeling, breathing. And then we'll take the knees together, walk your feet to the outside edges of your mat, noticing how your hips are rotating inwards here. Totally different rotation than the cobbler we just did. Walking feet together, extending arms again out to the sides, palms up. This time feet are on the floor. Inhale, knees are bent. Exhale, take knees right, gaze left. Another twist. And inhaling up over the middle with the knees. Exhale them left, gaze floats the right hand. Lovely. Let's bring the knees up over the middle. Feet long, overhead, legs long, arms overhead. I mean feet, not overhead. Legs long, arms overhead. That's what I want to say. Beautiful. Good morning stretch. Maybe one arm reaches, then the other. Reaching. Oh, yes. Getting into some nice corners. And if you need to do anything else before we settle into Shavasana, if you need another twist or a happy baby or a shoulder stand, anything at all, take what you need. You can always pause this video if you're listening to the recording and get yourself set up for Shavasana. If that means for you, grabbing a blanket or a pillow, your socks, getting ready, and we'll spend a few minutes in Shavasana. Maybe lowering the lights. Peace is all around you. If you forget to be peaceful, try some things. Forgive, trust, love yourself. Be still, be kind, be gentle. Do these things until peace returns. Seek places of healing. Seek places of power. Come back to center. Breathe deeply. Breathe in the air, the energy, the loving resources around you. Fill up on life. Fill up until you find and feel peace. Work things out. Work things through. Release the past. Take the steps your heart leads you to do. Do this until you find and feel peace. Breathe deeply. With each breath, release your fear. If you know what's causing your fear, write it down. Speak it out. If your fears are unknown, let them go too. Don't tangle yourself up trying to figure out or understand. Trust that your body, your soul, your heart is healing and releasing. Be gentle with yourself. A place inside you is healing its fears, telling you something, feeling something. Be tender and gentle. Rest until your fears subside. Rest until peace returns. Peace is yours for the asking, the wanting, the seeking. Desire it with passion, you shall see it, find it, have it. No matter what you're going through, your soul can be at peace. Coming back to the breath, to the body, to the mat, to your room. Maybe inviting gentle movements into fingers, toes, wrists and ankles, maybe circling them. Maybe moving head from side to side. Gentle, intuitive, nourishing movements that slowly bring you back. And to arrive back to a full sense of noticing, centering. And if you're ready, maybe rolling over onto one side, either side, perhaps resting head and hands, making a pillow with your arms. And after a few breaths, when you're ready, I invite you to meet me seated again on the mat in your own time, in your own way. Your palms reaching skyward to embrace and receive. Your heart open, crown lifted to spirit, God, divine, connected to earth. Thinking of two things that bless your life, or two things you wish to bless your life. Let's put one in either hand. Feel their weight, color, texture, mass, shape, and lifting those blessings skyward as we inhale. Reach them up, lift them up, send them skyward, empowering them, and then taking them down into your sacred space. And again, we'll scoop up all the blessings that surround us today or will bless us tomorrow, and taking them into our sacred heart space to seal our practice, for which I thank you for joining me. Whether you're here with me now or do this on the rebound and the recordings, often as you wish.
I wish you a wonderful rest of your evening or day or week, whenever you are joining us here. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for letting me be your guide. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste.